This is a derelict tower on top of Hilton Park Services on the M6 motorway. In one of the corners is this original 1970s goods lift that brings up goods or freight up into the tower, and there is a stock room directly behind the wall. The lift probably hasn't run for at least 30 years. If we're going to see what the motorroom looks like, somehow we need to get a camera up there. This video is the third part to a series that explores this derelict tower. In part 1, I went through the history and why it closed in the 1980s. Then in part 2, I did a complete explore of the tower, restaurant, kitchens, lift lobbies, and even the plant room on the roof. To see either of these videos, please click the link that appears at the top of the screen or see the video description. Back in the 1960s and 70s, there was very little consideration for maintenance and accessibility. This is an old Pickerings lift from the same time period. The motorroom is no bigger than a cupboard, and even with an open lift shaft right next to the hatch. Health and safety also wasn't as important as it is now. Now to this video. This is the only motorroom that's been left unexplored. We also have to consider this may just be a rope diverter room, and the motorroom may be on the ground floor instead. The only way to find out is to think of a way to get a camera up there. This is what I came up with. It's good, but I'm very conscious that one shake or knock could dislodge the GoPro and I'll end up losing it. Absolutely not good enough. I reviewed the footage in the car and had to come back, this time with a proper camera mount and lights. This is higher than it looks, and what I'm doing here is not easy. Holding the camera so high means there is very little of the pole left to hold, and I cannot see what I'm filming. It's just point the camera in the right direction and hope for the best. Unfortunately, this footage is simply not good enough for the Mr. Matt and Mr. Chay channel. The only way I'm going to get the footage that I desire is to climb up. But what's the chance of finding a spare ladder in a place like this? Well, this is my lucky day. It's a ladder and it's not attached. I would like to add that, unlike some channels, I put things back the way they were. This ladder was returned to the way I found it. Now for some proper footage. This may be a simple looking goods lift of the 1970s, but there's still lots more to talk about and explain. Therefore, I've split the video into two and created a technical video. In the next video, the buttons are marked ground and 2, but this isn't exactly true. I'll explain what the relays do, what this cable does, the significance of this switch, where the lift actually travels to, what the NT relay does, and later here's a direction switch examined, and how the logic works for a similar goods lift in a larger building. And lastly, here is the motor, but where is the brake? And does it need one? That's all coming up, so please click the link at the end of the video to see it. But before that, we have to get out of here without being noticed. On the way out, the goods lift has another set of doors on the other side. Let's see where they go. Unfortunately, the entrance door over the other side was locked, which you can see in the previous part 2 video. I could squeeze through this hole, but not without getting really dusty. I decided not to, as there's probably not much to see anyway. Now we go back to the top floor lift lobby, which is locked off to the public. To find out how I got up here in the first place, that's in part 1. But there's a constant flow of people on the floor below, including staff going in and out of the security office, which is directly opposite the door we entered through. There is a much easier way to get down from here, and unfortunately the old Otis lift has been out of action for quite some time now. The new lift is locked off to the tower, but can it be called from the second floor landing? There's nothing interesting about this lift at all, but on the other hand, part 4, the technical video, is completely the opposite, and it's coming up in a few moments at the end of this video. A lot of time and effort goes into recording and editing these videos to make them as interesting as possible for you, my audience. Quality, not quantity, is our motto. If you've enjoyed watching, please consider subscribing to the Mr. Matt and Mr. Chay channel. Thank you very much for watching.